Reviews work. Reviews work. Trust me. And we are getting phone calls.
Google reviews matter. And most advisors aren't doing it essentially at all.
It's all about mindset. It's a mindset shift.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Advisors Collective, episode 6. This is actually our very first, we're going to call advisor highlights. So we are highlighting an actual advisory team out of the great state of Pennsylvania that's a part of the RAA that I own and operate. These guys are new from the previous firm we were at actually at the same place. Just a great couple of dudes and building something really spectacular out there. And as you'll learn how they're doing it, what they're doing, every few episodes, we're going to actually bring in an advisor, not only from Terra Wealth, the company I'm with, but also lots of other companies. Some of the Forbes top 100 financial advisors are going to be on the show. So excited to just share real practice management. We talk a lot about skill set, tool set, mindset, and how when you bring those three together, guys, you get basically asset, right? So that meaning AUM or cash flow or whatever you want to think of that is, but that you get income from it, right? You get growth when you start to work in those things. So really excited to have Joe Kochenour and Justin Pierce on the show for episode 6 and highlight this team. And the team's called Leader Heights. So is Leader Heights like your area? Is that where you live? I don't even know.
Yeah. So our office is on Leader Heights Road. So what we did is we took it's not really an area. Justin is the brains. He's like, sounds cool. And, we ran with it because, it does kind of incorporate an area and people know Leader Heights Road real well. So it really kind of just, made, made everything just kind of smooth, and the advertising, the promotional stuff really just kind of flow.
What city is Leader Heights in?
So it's in the York, Pennsylvania area. Yeah, York, Pennsylvania. It's one of those weird subsections. So I'm from a small town. I have a York address, but it's technically Jacobus. Leader Heights is very similar. It's a York address, but people know it as Leader Heights. So as Joe mentioned, it's right off the main drag of a major highway, and it's sort of one of those things that just came to life because it made sense.
That's cool. Yeah, it's more like it's that community name, It's like a famous road by me. It's called I-55, but everybody calls it 9 Mile because it's 9 miles from top to bottom. Just everybody calls it that. So you're from the area if you know that name, kind of thing. So that's awesome. Well, hey, I'm excited to have you guys on. This is gonna be a lot of fun. You've been here. You're really what we call OGs at Terra Wealth, original gangsters. So OGs. You're some of the original guys who came over when we started this firm, and the RIA, the risk management side, and then of course we have a broker dealer affiliation, and you guys were there since when was it? September of 22?
September. Yep.
September. That's it.
So right at 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. September 9th to be exact is the day, and definitely life changing, and it was well worth it. Just making the move and coming over. It's funny. You're used to something for so long, and you make a change. It's not easy, but I think that's a lot of people's holdback when it comes to anything. They're scared, they're nervous, and once you get over there, always going to be bumps. There might be some hiccups, but then you stick with it, and man, it's going great. So.
That's cool. I actually just realized this was on accident. I'm drinking out of a coffee mug that's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, there you go.
Like this is the Nemacolin Fatbird. If you've ever been to Nemacolin Resort, it's in the mountains south of Pittsburgh. It's one of my favorite places in the whole country. If you haven't been there, it is unbelievable.
I don't know if it holds a candle to Leader's Heights, but
I mean, probably Leader Heights probably got it, but
I got some nice coffee here.
It's a fun entrepreneurial story. The guy who started 84 Lumber, who became a billionaire, started a resort out in the middle of the mountains there in southern Pennsylvania, And you got to be most big super rich people in some degree I found are fairly eccentric. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. They're always like great people, contrary to like the movies. It's not like they're always greedy and this and that. They tend to give a ton. They're super good about just like helping others. It's just completely opposite from what Hollywood has sold us on. But they also can be pretty eccentric sometimes. This guy just built a replica of the St. Regis Paris. And he just builds it, just slaps it on the side of a mountain in Pennsylvania. And you walk into this place, it's the most opulent, incredible. You feel like you're transported into Europe, and you're in like Podunk, PA, where it's at. And it's super cool. So
you're making me feel like I don't know my own state.
Exactly. I was thinking the same
thing. I
thing.
can visit Paris, and I just know there's a bunch of rudders and sheets here. If you're from PA, you know what those are. So
you can visit Paris in your own state, and I've been there. And I'm from Indiana, so
Jeez.
Here's what they say: is usually the people that live in York don't go too far. If they do go too far, they come right back. So unfortunately, York is like a vacuum, and we have a lot of Yorkers, and they're true to their county, their city, and they don't travel too far. And I can attest to that. I went to college not too far from here, and 3.5 years later, completed college, came right back, and I now live a mile from my parents. So I think it's really common for York. So we don't get out too much.
I'm kind of more like Everybody Loves Raymond. I kept moving a little further from my parents so they can't run across the yard and open the door. But it's crazy. Lancaster. So Lancaster is the next city over, right across the bridge. I believe was ranked in the top 10 of places to retire to, and I can attest personally that, to Joe's point, I mean, it's one of those places when you're at the place that you're from, it sort of gets boring and you get tired of it. But the more I think about leaving, the more attractive I feel like the place becomes, because I think to myself, wow, it's been a really great place to raise my kids. My wife goes for a run at 8:00 at night. I don't worry about her. It's just it's a safe area to be. And it kind of, I don't know, I'm adventurous, and I'd probably call myself a little bit eccentric. I think Joe would probably agree with that.
Very, yes.
But it's just nice. It's nice to know it feels like home. And so,
that's cool. When I make that eccentric joke, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, so I totally get it. For myself, and well, cool. Let's just kind of talk personal backgrounds. How it correlates to what you guys are doing now. And kind of where you started. Who's been in the business? Who's been advising longer? Let's just start there.
I think Joe. That was me. 2009. So. Okay. That's when I first got started at my previous firm. And, it was just, I kind of fell into it. I'm fortunate. My background is I had a lot of support from my family. My grandfather was a very successful businessman here in the area, and he taught us a lot and taught, my family and my cousins and my parents. And so I had a great upbringing and a lot of, just a lot of knowledge that, allowed me to feel comfortable around talking to people. And I've been doing now since, like I said, 2009. My degree, I mean, this is maybe a weird side note, but I sold tanning beds for a living. That's actually my prior financial, history.
That is awesome. I've never heard of
your passion.
That's
Joe's real passion. His real passion was selling tanning beds.
Yeah. It was. I loved it. It was just a small company, and it actually kind of ties into a lot to what I do now, because it was 5 of us. The owner and then 4 employees, and I saw the ins and outs. And he was very open about how he ran a business and talked to us about the numbers and things that he was doing and struggles, and obviously So it actually tied in really well, but it was not a recession-proof job, because it was a luxury item. So I got married and had a child, and we struggled because the recession killed the industry. So financial services and financial planning kind of fell into my lap. And, now 15 years later, I love it, and fortunate to meet Justin and really grow our practice here at Leader Heights.
That's cool. Justin, what about you?
Oh man, how far back do you want to go? So I grew up blue collar, right? My dad is a first generation immigrant. Joined the military. I grew up kind of with I won't say hard nose, but it was different. I knew I was different when I was younger, as far as looking around my peers. I got my first job at 12. Life was kind of difficult, but my parents instilled in me the value of really hard work. And nobody in my family had really gone to college. So for me, it was in that time frame in the 2010s where college was what was being pushed. So I did what everybody else did. I graduated high school. I went into factory work, but I knew that's not what I wanted to do forever, because I saw how it broke my dad. I mean, he worked so much, and I wanted more out of life. So I went to college. I got a business degree. I worked a couple of journeyman programs in machinery. I did pretty much everything under the sun. I spent a good period of time in renewable energy, working in a fab shop. And somebody, sat with me to kind of pitch me on the idea of financial planning. It was completely new to me. And I think what really struck a chord was the guy was my age. And I came from a place where, because I went directly into the workforce, and I was still putting myself through college, I was making, in my estimation, pretty significant amount compared to the people that I had gone to high school with, who were still in college, looking for jobs. And so when this guy sat in front of me and he was making 3-4 times what I was making, I was like, wait a second. I felt like I was the big fish, and now all of a sudden I feel like a small fish. So it really piqued my interest, and I got fully licensed around 2014. Well, not fully licensed. I got into the insurance realm, ancillary products, things like that. Got into advising around 2017, and just kind of life circumstances took me different directions, and of course Joe and I knew of each other, where we came from, but there wasn't a whole lot of interaction aside from just kissing. And we ended up here, ran into each other, and I don't know, I guess it's the Lord's will, right? That's what they say. And here we are.
Yeah, that's cool. So you guys came together. You weren't a team at your previous firm. You guys weren't running a shop together. You were two separate shops. And then you guys, when you're actually just recently, you're two separate shops, even inside of Terra Wealth for a while, and just recently came together and created Leader Heights, which was back in, I feel like it was May. Is that accurate?
Officially, we signed the papers February, and we came March. But then, just as we kind of grew pretty fast. May. I would say May 1st would be our official joining date. And what's funny is you see somebody, and we literally share an office. We have no divider, so we're staring at each other, and we're like, you know what, this is crazy. Because obviously you just heard Justin's past, you heard mine. We gel perfect because we hit and have the unique ability to attract or work with all backgrounds, and we're like, let's do this together. And it's funny. I think a lot of people are really closed-minded on the idea of being true partners, because they always feel like, I think a little selfish, like, well, I want mine. I want to keep everything for me. Whereas Justin, from day one, even our spouses, we got them involved. We're like, yeah, like, why wouldn't we do this together? It's not about selfishness. Is about who and how many more people we can help, because he's able to do things I am unable to do in the industry, and I can do the things that he is able to do, but he didn't have the time for. So it really was just one of those things that if people open their mind and say, hey, let's give it a shot. At the worst, you tried, you failed, you go back to what you're doing by yourself. But I'm telling you, you get that right partner on board, things are just, our business has skyrocketed and skyrocketed. I don't even know if it's the right word. We're stuck up with the astronauts that are trying to get back home. Like, we are out of this world in regards to our business because we came together and haven't had any animosity toward each other to say that's mine, and it really kind of freed up that just where we're heading and where we are currently.
Teams usually come together because of specialization, right, of some sort. So I'm assuming you each kind of specialize in certain given areas, kind of like that's Justin's world, this is my world. Is that how you kind of operate, or do you both essentially do the same thing just with a different base of clients?
So it's kind of a combination. I think, if we're honest, I think we're still trying to figure that out in its entirety. I think for the most part, we've segmented pretty well. And that is, Joe handles a lot of the insurance planning, a lot of the fixed products. If there's any mutual fund business that comes in, I kind of handle more of the managed accounts. He brings me in. So part of what makes us special and unique is that, to Joe's point, we attract different markets, right? He runs in a different market than what I'm accustomed to, and that's part of what made the partnership attractive to me. And so I specialize. I want to do the 401k stuff. I want to do the long-term wealth planning, everything like that. Some of these different models that exist within the industry that previously we didn't have access to, and some of which we weren't even aware of, right? So that's kind of, we've segmented pretty well. We run a lot of cases together. So pretty much every case we bring it, if we don't run the appointment together, we run the case together. We bring it to each other and say, okay, this is what we want to do this. What are your thoughts on that? And it's a real team effort.
How do you think it benefits the clients the most having this team approach where you're integrated? Because if Joe's doing a lot of risk management, you're doing more of the wealth management side. Like, how do you think that benefits clients? Like, why should other advisors maybe be looking at running that? To me, just simply, I think it's hard for somebody to be good at everything. Just from the onset. So
it is. I'll kind of give my thoughts, and I know Joe has his. I think for me, when I look at it from a client perspective, it's a couple different things. I think you have the unique ability to really make your clients feel special. When you show up together, they're realizing, wow, I'm not just getting one person, I'm getting two people. And now we have Christy as an admin who's lending additional credibility there. These people are really giving me attention, and it's about creating a unique experience for them. Because at the end of the day, managed money is managed money. Structured notes, products, all that's all the same. But if you can create a unique experience, you think about why anybody goes and they pay, I don't know, $8, $9 for a latte. The coffee's no different. It's not special coffee. It's that the person may have taken the time to put it in a special cup and write their name on it, and to maybe put some froth on it with a design, right? You're creating a unique experience. And I think for me, the partnership allows us to do that more efficiently. And I also think, to your point, you can't do it all. And some people try to do it all, but I think there is a negative connotation to that, because you sort of look like the guy on the street corner opening his jacket saying, hey, I can do this, this, and this. But if you have another individual you can point to and say, hey, Joe's really, really good at this. This is his specialty. He's going to take a look at your portfolio and take care of this portion of things. I'm going to be on the other side looking at this, and then we're going to walk alongside you the entire way together. I think goes a really long way in creating that experience.
Yeah, it's just credibility. Great. Just like you said, I think it's you're putting your credibility on somebody else, not constantly on self. And then people can feel that, people can respect that. It's how their doctor works, right? They have their doctor, and their MD's like, yeah, I do this. I do the family practice medicine, but you need to go see a dermatologist. You need to go see so it's like, you need to talk to my partner who's the risk management guy. So as it relates to these insurance conversations, or, your risk aversion to the market right now, he's going to be the guy to talk to about the investments. So in that regard, so that's cool. So what's like process client process, planning process, kind of how do you guys do that as a team? What is your process is probably just a good way to start it.
So, I mean, our process is really, it's basic in the fact it's really the initial is just getting to know the person and getting to know the family or getting to know the business owner, because that's a huge part of our business is small business planning, medium-sized business planning, along with families. But it's finding out what's driving them, like finding out what is their goals, because we can tell them about every product we offer, every service, they don't care. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because if without truly having a conversation and getting their beliefs, their dreams, their goals, maybe if they're looking to sell business, like when is that? Like we need to have all that stuff. And you know what? At the end of the first meeting, we ask them, if you feel comfortable with us, we'll work together, and vice versa. If we don't feel that this is a great relationship, we're going to have an open discussion, because it's like going into a marriage. I mean, you're going to end up getting into a marriage where you've got to do this for the long term. And if it goes sour, you don't want to go too far and then it's a bad ending. So we just want to really be upfront and find out everything about them, everything that they care about. Maybe they have kids, maybe they have grandkids, maybe they have a favorite charity, maybe they want to have a building named after them. You know what I mean? Like we need to figure out what really makes them tick. And then from there, the process just kind of flows to then, all right, let's actually see statements. And that might not even be till the second, third appointment where we actually know what they have, and that's financial planning really is how it should be. And not just from, hey, show me your statements, let's get your stuff invested. That's easy work. That's for, to me, I think for me, way back when I first started, that's really what I was chasing. And now it has developed into this, it's a good long-term relationship that will last for years and years and years.
Yeah. It's just transactional versus relational, right? Which is so much, I think, associated with managed money and fee-based advisory work. But it can absolutely still happen in the commission world too. You just have to actually care enough that you're not making it a transaction, if so. And in you guys' case, I mean, it's not like I'm an advocate. You guys clearly are as well, of that sometimes a commissionable product is it's the best interest of the client, so to you're splitting that portfolio up. It might be 70% into something that's a fee-based program, but there could be that 30% that they really want to shelter into an FIA or something. So it doesn't change the relationship. And if you slow down, my friend who's a pastor, he coined this term, or at least I think he coined this term. He called it the art of the slowdown. And that was Joe. That's something I had to learn when I was running my practice, which was just slow down. Like, what do they really want to do when you get to the end of your life? Do you want to give your money away? Do you want to pay taxes? Do you want to what do you want to do with this money? And just slow down, have conversation, let the sales process take longer. And it's like that smooth is slow is fast,
Yep.
So you're telling me you've slowed down, but then earlier you guys were discussing that you've seen gigantic growth in just since the spring when you got together. So it's like we're slowing down and being more intentional about relationships with everybody. We're not doing 1-2 appointment closes. We're meeting them with multiple visits, right? But at the same time, we're seeing everything skyrocket. So let's talk about that. How and you don't got to give AUM or income, but I mean, what is your business in 6 months done? I mean, you're talking, you've gone up by 10% growth, or you talk, would be awesome in 6 months, or are you talking 50% growth? Like, how much have you guys changed your business in just a short period of time?
Man, I don't even, to quantify it lightly, I will say, in our best month, we made probably what we would have, probably what we never made in a previous year before partnering. I mean, to your point, a lot of that is learning to slow down. I think a lot of people in our industry, particularly in the commission-based space, they are used to that constant chase, right? Constantly trying to feed themselves. It leads to lack of true relationships. And so you start to have a different level of attractiveness. You know, if you believe in the law of attraction, when you start to slow down, whether you feel like you're desperate or not, I think you tend to put that feeling off in some instances when you're constantly chasing, right? So the partnership has allowed us to kind of relieve some of the pressure from one another. You know, I can build our practice's passive stream of income through relationships and do so intentionally and as slowly as necessary, because I know Joe's on the other end keeping the lights on, right? And at the same time, he can take comfort in knowing, hey, Justin's over there building something that's going to continuously pay us while we take care of our clients, while I'm over here making sure that I'm paying the bills, right? So I think, yeah, I mean, the growth has been slow and steady and all at once, if that makes sense. It's sort of, we've slowed down the transactional process, which has led to a ridiculous pipeline, really.
I really think it ties into the power partnership, because I am the go person. Like I maybe not lack of patience, but you know, when I maybe I still came over with that you know, closing mindset, and Justin is the opposite. Like he is my, as silly as it sounds, like he's like the Buddha. He's like, you know, just calm down. Like it's okay. Like let's just slow this down, because, you know, and that's, I think, the power to our partnership, because he specializes in that relationship building process. And obviously now, you know, I'm getting better, you know, because of the you know, he's obviously in my ear. You know, we discuss, we literally talk hours. My kids are like, oh, your boyfriend's on the phone, and I'm like, hey, awesome. I'm so glad I'm getting a phone call from him, because that means we're talking and we're growing together. You know, and it's awesome. And you know, I love it. And it's funny. You've gotta, and even if they aren't your true business partner, find someone in your life that if you have a couple areas where you know you have flaws, or you know you could do better, rely on them, because they're only going to make you better. And you know, you're going to help grow your practice and do whatever, you know, even if it's not in the financial industry world, like it's going to make you a better person.
Yeah, I mean, we all came from a space where we weren't working with high net worth individuals very often. We were more, you know, middle class, upper middle class at best, kind of on that platform. But now you guys have really transitioned into meeting with a lot more families who are more affluent, mass affluent plus, right?
Yep.
And they really have a different mindset, you know, as it relates to money. They just think differently about money when you have it, or you've had it for a while, right? And don't you think that slowdown is what's like, that's the world? You can't go fast in that market. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
I think it's a mix, man. Like, yeah, I think we've seen a lot of that comes from the fact of the rhythm of the appointments, right? I think if you're willing to take the initial time in the beginning to really get to know them, like Joe said, see what makes them tick, understand their values, just be real, find the human side of one another. I think from there, things tend, from our experience, to actually move kind of quickly once beyond that. You know, it's just, I think a lot of times people don't take the time to get to know the client. It's about, how do I close this person? And that's as far as the psychology goes. Whereas, I recently had an appointment where the person said, I met with other advisors and I've never been treated like how you're treating me. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you guys talk to me like I'm a human being. You asked me about my kids, my grandkids, we talked about our families and what we like to do for fun and our interests. I don't think those are things that are commonplace. At least they haven't been, from my experience in the past, within our industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're absolutely
Justin,
right.
I see I see SEPA behind your name. What, designations are you guys? I think you've been working on some designation certification type stuff. What does that kind of mean to you guys in your practice?
Yeah, so the SEPA is a designation specialized in exit planning for businesses. It's the Certified Exit Planning Advisor designation. And then I've got the CLTC, which is long-term care. And I'm actually set. I've been saying this a long time. I keep telling myself I'm done taking tests. So I have one more. I think I want to chase in January. I took a little bit of a break. It's based around pensions and the understanding of Social Security and things like that. For me personally, I think the continuing education portion of the designations is what is most attractive to me and what's most useful. So I think the letters behind your name, the alphabet soup, it's always going to carry some weight in our industry. But I think when people learn, I just ran an appointment yesterday. I was able to use the SEPA methodology with a business owner, talk through some of the questions that they teach you to ask. And it's also sort of found its way in our everyday practice. Some of the questions we've begun to ask our families, in our quest to find what a successful um, retirement would look like for them. So I think it's the additional knowledge that they've lended and the credibility, I think, goes a long way in making people feel as though you specialize.
So I just think it's interesting that for years, I mean, they've been saying the average age of a financial advisor or people in our space is 59 to 60 years old. They've been saying this forever, and it just doesn't even change. So, like, tell me how the heck that works. I don't know. I don't know if that just
Yeah.
means there's more young people coming in, but I meet a lot of advisors that are, as you guys know, we're in the aggregation business. We're talking to a lot of practices that are looking to sell a portion or all their books and come into the company and monetize part of that career body of work. But then of course, just younger guys that are looking for a new home and a better platform to be at. But like, what are you guys doing that feels so, you feel different? I think if the average advisor was listening to this right now, they go, this feels different. Right. And I don't think it's an age thing that allows you to be different. Right. Anybody can do these kinds of things. But what are you doing as far as marketing, social media, direct outreach, for dinner events, or what are all the different approaches? Let's just talk through all that fun stuff.
So I'll start, and then I'm going to pass it to the expert here on the call, because I'm older, a few years older than Justin, and I know he makes fun of me. He calls me, he always throws around the word boomer, and I'm like 5 years older than him. But I think a lot of it is just open-mindedness or being pushed into something you aren't used to. And that's something that he's doing a really good job at, of getting me. So I am on social media, and I'm just on one, and he's like, well, we got to step that up. Like, we got to get you out and get you in the world of LinkedIn and some other channels that I'm not used to. But what that has done is really almost overnight, in a way, it's been fun, because my wife and I personally have done this, because she's Chrissy, our office manager, is my wife. We've gotten outreaches already, from people and family and friends, like, oh my gosh, I love your stuff, and I've been watching your stuff and all that. So that just comes down to just being taught and not being afraid of looking different, because you're used to, like, maybe I was too worried about how I got to look, and now I got to expand and say, what, hey, I'm willing to give it a shot, and it's paid off tenfold for our business. And I'll let Justin continue, because he is the social media guru and the marketing guru of our firm. But that's really been a huge growth just in the short time that we've been together. Just willing to take a chance and do something a little bit outside your box.
Yeah, so I think for me, where we came from, part of the reason that I love it here so much and why I made the move was just the freedom. right? The autonomy to do more marketing. When I came into the industry, I was a young kid, didn't really have a natural market, so I had to find a way to get in front of people and find where people were. And for me, that was social media. And so I started to really build my practice. And when Joe and I combined, I think it opened my eyes and opened some of my time to give me the ability to say, hey, listen, like we're building a practice on one of these. What if we do two or three of them? We learn to do them really well. And so social media for us has been huge. I think advisors shy away from it. A lot of times it's part compliance, it's part just the lack of willingness or the lack of comfort because it can be uncomfortable putting yourself out. I think,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what we're doing now, right, is being
Mm-hmm.
real and putting yourself out there, being visible. I think too many advisors, they, I don't want to say the word hide, but they're not visible, right? If they are on social media, it's a profile of their business, their company put together for them, right?
Yeah,
They
right.
everything's
Everybody has the
private,
same website. Everybody has the exact same. It's
right?
just you got the cube of that guy's head in
Yeah.
the corner, and you're like,
Yeah.
this guy's unique because we have a photo of him. Versus, and then
And
it's like I think the importance of what you're saying a little bit is I'm just thinking of the term obscurity. Like I always think the number
Mm-hmm.
one problem that almost everybody has in business is obscurity.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
right,
knows you're in business. They don't even know they don't even know who you are, let alone what you do. So the
Mm-hmm.
problem is obscurity.
right,
If you can, I mean, it's like advertising at its most simplistic was companies would pay, let's say television, we go old school. They'd pay television to show their company to reduce the obscurity. Like, so people had some kind of brand recognition and go, oh yeah, Coke, I've heard of Coca-Cola now. Because it
right,
was only word of mouth. But at the end of the day, if everybody doesn't know who you are, that nobody has a chance to just call you and
Mm-hmm.
and buy your product, service, and become a customer, right? So, like, I I think that's part of what I'm kind of hearing from you, Justin. Is like I didn't have a market; I had to go find one. So I had to let people know that I was a financial professional. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, not just that. I mean, the fact that, like I said, I came into industry from a completely different industry. For me to actually make the formal move to other people and for them to see me wearing a different hat, I had to relocate. I had to go find people who didn't know me from my current or previous life, right? And so I think social media is really powerful in that sense. It allows you to put yourself out there, and just as importantly, people are willing to tell you what is happening in their life, right? So you move from this doom scrolling to scrolling with a purpose. And so, but at the same time, you don't remove the social from social media, right? You're not going to, you need to actually engage with people. That's part of the authenticity. It shouldn't be an act. It
Mm-hmm.
should be, well, I want to wish this person a happy birthday. They have a beautiful family. I want to leave a comment and let them know that I appreciate the picture, or and when it comes to small businesses, I mean, Joe and I have been huge in this. You go to a small business or you use them for something, tag them in a post,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bring, sort of scratch my back, I'll scratch yours sort of mentality, and giving back to the people that are helping you grow.
yeah,
So
I'm going to
social
look.
media has been
I'm
huge.
going to look you up really quick by the
Mm-hmm.
while you're talking, because you just do some posts that are just um hilarious. I just don't even know. Like that's a big part of your personality. It's like you're a joker. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten together a bunch of times. Had drinks, that kind of thing. And so that authenticity comes through, or should
Mm-hmm.
come through. I think. How many are your thoughts on this? Like financial advisors are just so stiff that it's like they were literally sprayed in
Yeah.
starch
Yeah.
with their shirt. And it just, that's not who your prospects are. That's not who your clients are. Your clients are like the
Mm-mm.
guy who runs and owns the largest HVAC company in Lancaster County,
Yeah.
in a concrete company, and whatever, all these different people. And like, these are just regular people. They're not expecting you to be like, I don't know how else to say it, like super nerd,
Yeah.
And
Right.
they're expecting you to be a regular, real human being as well, you know. So when I see things like the other day, this had nothing to do with financial services, and that if you could pull up, there's an old man drinking a cup of coffee. Just scroll down a little bit,
Oh, that's
and
Harold.
just
That's
Harold.
Harold.
Yeah, show
Yeah.
this screenshot. This just got me. I was rolling because this lets people know. Like it's like kind of like a dad joke. It's actually a dad joke in meme
Totally.
form.
Totally.
But it's so good. So I think that people see this kind of thing and they stop associating you only as financial Justin, and they start thinking of you as a dad, a father, a regular guy. So just downloaded the Titanic soundtrack. It's syncing now, right? Like it's just like that is so fantastic, just above that, scroll up. Like this is fantastic. Like this is that's my life. I think of that all the time. The paper towel 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
We'll have flying cars in the future. You trying to tear the stupid, thing off, and you just see where your hands ripped away from the paper and you still couldn't get the paper out. Like that's actually more powerful to, especially the platform that it is. You can drop that down. Thanks.
Yeah.
I think to the platform and speak to who you are, because that's authenticity. That's
Right.
like everybody's had that thought. There's not a guy who hasn't been into a bathroom, at Lowe's and like like your hands just ripped away from the paper and you're like, this is life. This is what I'm working. Like you're just like, come on, I just wanted some paper towel. I actually went through the long, arduous process of actually washing my hands.
Exactly.
And then here I am. This is how I get repaid for my hard work. And so I think a guy sees that post, women, same thing. I guess they have same paper towels in the bathrooms.
They don't wash their hands. They don't wash their hands.
Yeah. And you just laugh and you go, yeah, my financial advisor is a funny dude.
Yeah.
And I think it's more likely that somebody says to a friend, my financial guy, yeah, he does a great job with the investment stuff. He's just a great dude too. He's got a wife, got some kids, just a great family. We're on social media together. And if you're witty, be witty. If you're funny, be funny. If you're
right,
you know what I mean? Like you need to be authentic. In your case, you're really good at funny memes in like little things like that. And I think people share that kind of stuff. I think it goes a long way, but I think advisors believe that because it's not like a tie behind a desk kind of like even this
boring.
podcast. I think a lot of financial advisors with this podcast might be like, well, I don't know, like you guys are just chatting. Is this right? Yes. Like this is the real world today. Now.
Right.
In 1990, sure, wasn't the case, but we're in a different world post-COVID, right? We had BC, right? AD, and now we have PC. And I really believe that there was like a transition in a lot of our thinking and mindsets in the world. And like one of those, I think I explained to somebody recently, was that reviews. I think that Amazon itself, I think is probably who single-handedly did this. Amazon has shifted our brains in how we think about products. And here's what I mean by that. Everything is reviews based now. You end up at Amazon and I'll search in a product and it comes up and there's, these two cables. I need a new cable, a USB-C cable. And they're both 16 feet. And the one has 3,134 reviews and the other one has 300 reviews. And they're both 5-star. And they're both the same price. Which one am I probably buying?
3,000 reviews, man.
100%.
3,000 reviews. You just kind of go like, you go, hey, the numbers are on my side, right? This isn't a lemon or whatever. It's a solid thing. I think that actually, I haven't studied. I'm sure there's a TED talk on it or something. I think that Amazon, due to how they created their star system, is so prevalent. It's not that it didn't exist. It's just that it imprinted on us because everybody shops on Amazon so much that it affected us, where now you guys are even seeing in the office that, there's a rep inside of we have like a Midwest headquarters here in Crown Point, Indiana, but we also have one of the advisors works out of here that basically took over my clientele as well as her own. And we're seeing the exact same thing. Google reviews matter. And most advisors aren't doing it essentially at all. You guys have leaned into that. What has Google reviews done? Are you seeing results from that? And how long have you been, let's start at that. How long have you been doing Google reviews?
Before we get into that, hold on one sec. Give me 1 sec. So it's funny. So this is really kind of goes right into tie of what you just said, Josh, is we're running a seminar here in the area. And I bought name tents on Amazon. I literally bought name tents or pieces of cardstock that are perforated based on how many reviews they had. You know what I mean? So I'm like, these must be really good name tents. Like, it's literally cardstock that is perforated, so I don't need to cut and make not a straight line. I mean, that hit the nail on the head of just, man, like, it's how the world goes, and everybody does it. And tying exactly now into your next question about reviews, like Justin, again, and I keep going back to him, and it's going to sound like, like I want to build him up because he's the best at it. He's like, Joe, like, reviews work, trust me. And for the last, now I would say 3 weeks, the reviews worked. And we are getting phone calls. I mean, the one time, just last week, I was on the phone with a Google, someone that found us on Google, said they love our reviews. We called because of the reviews. And then as I'm still on the phone with that person, I got another phone call. Like, it was from Google. They both were from Google while I'm on the phone with one, and the other one called in at the same time. I mean, it's amazing. And the power of the reviews, it's honestly practice changing. I mean, it's changing our practice, because we aren't just getting, people that are, hey, I'm really in debt. And we're getting really quality clients from the reviews, and just having a good presence on there. And I'll let Justin kind of add to the Google reviews, and because he specializes in that. But the understanding is you got to have the reviews have to be open for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's not just, let's put the good reviews up, because everybody can put a review. But if you're doing the right thing, and that's what we strive our practice on, people are going to leave great reviews, just like my card tents over here, my name tents. You know what I mean? People love the paper tents, and they left great reviews, and that allowed me to buy that product from that company. So, and that's something, something that we really strive on doing, is just asking everybody to leave a review, good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter, because that also drives good lead sources.
Yeah, Justin, I think that it's all about mindset. It's a mindset shift. I think you're scared a lot of times that, well, what if I don't do a good job and somebody goes on there and they just obliterate me? So I think what's unique about it is when we talk about the reviews, it drives you to be a better advisor. You want to be reviewable. So I think that's first and foremost. It, again, adds to the visibility. The other thing that I think is really cool is, and I've been in the industry, 10, 11 years now, when we talk about referrals are, they're something that we all want. And it's a driving force behind getting new business, right? You can do a really outstanding job for somebody, save them a bunch of money, make them great returns. They're only going to talk to so many people if they talk to anybody, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you have a good relationship, you might get 1 or 2 referrals. But a review is constant. It is there for the entire world to see. Everybody has access to Google, right? So when you get that review, it's the ultimate referral. And I'd make the argument that a lot of times it's a lot easier than a referral. Because if you're sitting down with somebody and you're helping them, you say, hey, who do you know that's like you, right? It's kind of an inorganic ask. It's sort of awkward and weird. You put them in a position where they're thinking like, well, I don't know, I got to get the okay from these people to give you their number. But if they just go on, you say, hey, listen, I just want you to tell people what it was like working with you. Do you think Joe and I are good guys? Do you think we did right by you? Are you enjoying the process? Tell Google what you think of us. And it's super easy, man. And when you do that, it's out there forever. So you got to look at it like an investment in your practice to be a better advisor, be reviewable, and it pays dividends. I mean, like Joe said, we've gotten I would venture to say probably 10 calls in the last month just from Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, what happens too, by the way, is not only do the number of reviews, and star ratings and so on, put you essentially in the Google system. It's got, most people SEO, they call search engine optimization, move you up. So if somebody puts a keyword like financial advisor near me, they type that in, they punch that in their phone, and it pulls it up. Well, we know that most search occurs from mobile. So what happens is not only do they see the reviews, you pop up, you're high up, maybe the highest in the area when people search, life insurance near me, wealth manager near me, investments near me, just whatever some of those keywords are, you're gonna tee up really high there. But the other thing is that when they're doing it through Google Maps, which is where on average people are going to be doing that from, or Apple Maps, and they see that company, when they hit call from there, Google knows that not only are people searching you, but they're actually reaching out. They're applying that call to action. They're hitting the call button. So then it creates it's like the upward staircase. It's just Google's like, man, not only do these guys have a lot of reviews and we're showing them up, people are actually calling them. Or if you have a booking calendar and people actually book the appointment, Google sees that somebody actually took action based on what's there, and it pushes you up even higher. So then the more that occurs, the more phone calls come in organically. Mm-hmm. And that's marketing without having to advertise, because it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a few seconds to take a client that enjoys your process, and they go say whatever they wish to say. It's not even like you're manipulating or telling them what to say. You're just like, hey, do you mind doing this? Most people, contrary to how the news and the media and everything else, I don't think most people are at wit's end and everybody's like a psychopath and the country's about to burn to the ground. I mean, I think that pretty much everybody's still great people, and you're talking to them and you tell them that'd be meaningful. If they could leave you a review, they're like, yeah, for sure. And they hop on and they want to help you because you help them. So they want to reciprocate that in any way they can. So yeah, that's super cool. A lot of people don't do it. They don't understand, but in there, of course, you have it optimized for the keywords, the industries that you're in, so that you're easy to find. You've got a calendar there. You've got a phone number there, of course, through our CRM and stuff to make that simple. So let's just talk a little bit about learning to systematize your practice and putting that where, and we'll just kind of tone down into that, rediscovering the fun, and I think most advisors find themselves in a place at some point where it's just really becomes a grind, stops being fun. And I had a friend tell me one time, he goes, look, if it's not fun, I'm done. I got to find the fun. I got to, otherwise I'm going to be toast. I'm not going to be able to stay with it. I'm not going to be able to grind that hard for that long if it's not also fun. So have you found in coming together, kind of working out systems, what's that kind of done for the fun element? Or does that breathe? I mean, because you guys sound like you're enjoying it.
I'll start on this one. I mean, fun is, I was to a point, and I've only been in the industry 14 years, and I say only, but by yourself and by myself, it was exhausting. Like, it's exhausting. And there were many conversations at home saying, I don't know, maybe I should look elsewhere. Maybe I should do something else. I'm just not sure if I want to continue on the chase. And since obviously even just sharing an office and coming over to Terra, where we are now, it lit the light bulb again. The light bulb, glowing. And then obviously it got even brighter when Justin and myself, really joined, and we officially joined. where we are right now is, it sounds crazy. I mean, it is nuts. Like the things that we have going on and the tasks and the daily items that we have to handle, it's not, I wouldn't say overwhelming. It's exciting. It's a lot, but the best part about the whole thing is we're doing it together, and we have someone else right there with us that's saying it's good. We got this. We're going to crush this. And I think that also, to me, makes my mind excited, because what's coming in the future is we are looking to grow. You know what I mean? Because hey, if we can bring in other advisors to our practice, let's grow, because I think we have the ability and we have the systems in place to bring in new advisors and new practices and really just kind of expand. And that's fun. You know, if you just stay this small forever, you know, it might be what you want, but that's where I think the stale feeling comes in. But if you allow your mind to grow and find someone that is like-minded to go along the ride with you, how can you not wake up every day like excited about what's coming for that day? And a little Google phone call adds to that excitement, or a reach out on social media saying, hey, I've been following you for a while now. You know, I'm looking to invest my money. Can you help me? Or I want you to be my person. Like that makes it even more fun. And, you know, I'll let Justin kind of finish that off, but I mean, how can you not have fun when you work with a guy, oh, this way, that way, like Justin, and just with a company that allows us to, you know, grow and really just help whoever we want and work as much as we want and then work as hard as we want without, you know, being too much restricted, you know, on some of the items that other companies might restrict you on. So,
I'll echo that. I mean, I wasn't to a point where I was looking to necessarily get out of the industry, but I really questioned whether or not I had what it took to make it, to the point that, I mean, I've got some really big vision. Joe and I, that's where we're very much alike, is, you know, how we get there might look different, or the pace at which we get there might look different, but we've got really big visions. And where I was, it just felt like I outgrew it. I outgrew it years ago. And I was listening to all these people telling me, you know, well, this is how you get to the next level. This is what you have to do. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, yeah, but that doesn't jive with my values. Doesn't jive with my personality. You know, I want to be out there. I want to show people who I am. And coming here and being independent has allowed me to do that. It's allowed me to put my personality on display. And then it's allowed me to partner with Joe and have that amplified. Because I know it sounds cheesy and we keep coming back to partnership, but it really is like a marriage. If you're going to be partnered with somebody, you need to be partnered with the person who's going to amplify who you are and step you up in your game, not somebody who's going to hide you and you know, put you away somewhere. And so the combination of being independent here with our firm and then our partnership just exploding, and yeah, man, I mean, it's just been fun rediscovering that marketing and advising can be fun. You don't have to be, you know, the boring guy in a suit and tie. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know, just getting out there and showing your clients who you are. It's I don't know how to really put it into words. It's really reinvigorated me. It's made me excited, and it's expanded my vision even more. And I'm looking forward to I look forward to every day. I jump out of bed every day. I'm excited. We're making phone calls. Joe and I talk daily, right? We get to celebrate the wins together. We've got the opportunity to hold each other up when things aren't going the way we want them to. It's just been great.
That's awesome. I want to talk, make sure to give credence to, because we've talked about digital. You guys meet a lot of clients online, right? We didn't really talk about it, but you do, right? You guys are heavy online use. People meet you a lot on Gmeet, Zoom type meetings, right? You do a heavy part of your business there, but then also tonight you have a seminar, like you're doing an in-person seminar. So let's just talk a little bit old school and new school. A lot of times I think advisors start to split the difference, and they think, well, I'm old school and these people are new school, when in reality, the truth lies somewhere in the middle of what I think is probably the most optimized business today is a hybrid of old school and new school. So how do you guys do that? What does that look like? What are the couple of different lines of business and how you drive business?
Yeah. So tonight we're actually doing like a in-person seminar where, invites were sent and received and people signed up and it's all on where your target market is. Like obviously, I think we definitely have a generational gap for technology use, and there's still a lot of people that, maybe are more like me who still write paper checks and still, send personal thank you notes. So depending on what market you're in, you have to be willing to adapt. You know what I mean? So Justin is in getting me into the social media side, like the seminar tonight. I can't wait because I get to actually put, names to faces that I've been in contact already, and thanking them for signing up and looking forward to seeing them at the seminar tonight. So it really just is based on, you just got to be willing to, to go after it and not just pigeonhole yourself so much that you leave business on the table, because there's so much out there to be taken, not taken, but there's so much business out there of people looking for help that have never had access to it. So if it's a live seminar, do it. If it's a social media, do it. If it's a podcast, it's my first time ever on a podcast, do it. You know what I mean? Because, you're going to be able to reach so many more people that you might have never had access to if you don't. And I think that's really, what has gotten me, again, going back to the excitement part. It keeps me, it's exciting. How can you not be excited about a huge seminar tonight? We have, a ton of people coming tonight. We have another one at the end of the week. Even more people are coming. Next week. We have even more people coming to that one. Like, how can you not be excited about that? And right. In the meantime, we're getting phone calls still from the Google reviews while we're doing seminars. Like, it's just like the full circle has to, be at the front of your mind. And that's how a practice can go from very small and to be very big in a good way since May 1st, since Justin and I joined.
That's great.
Yeah, I think I look at it like you look at any portfolio, diversification, right? You don't want to put your clients in any one bucket and say, hey, here's all your eggs in one place. I think it's the same thing with your marketing. It should be tiered, right? So to Joe's point, you have different types of markets located in different spheres, and you need to go meet them where they are. And so I think there's definitely this misconception that it has to be an either or when we talk about new school and old school. And I think the best portfolio, again, is having both those come together. So I think you can do a little bit of everything. We've had cases where maybe somebody found us on our website or found us on Google, or they filled out a lead form. So that's technology. But then when you connect with them, they say, hey, listen, I'd really like to meet in person. Okay, cool. That's the perfect marriage, right? They utilized the technology to find you. Right. They entered your funnel in your system, and then the appointment was set in person. And, I'm also big on efficiency, if I'm honest, right? When you're meeting people digitally, you tend to stay more on point. The meetings go a lot smoother. And then boom, like you take a half-hour break or 20-minute break, you can jump on the next appointment. I can visit a client in Colorado, and I can be in Florida and Texas all within the same 2 or 3 hour time span. That if you're meeting at the office or meeting in person, it just isn't realistic. So I think you just have to come with an open mind and look at your marketing like you would building a portfolio for a client, and just make sure that you're in a diversified space.
That's awesome. Well, hey, anything else you guys want to talk about you feel like we left out, didn't get to today? This is
big. I think if I would have to give one takeaway or one final word, is just be open-minded. Just be willing to take a chance. Because again, you mentioned the statistics earlier about aging out advisors. At some point, we're all going to age out. I'm getting older, and we're all going to get older, and our parents are getting older. We're grandparents getting older. Just take a chance, because at the end of the day, do not end up being a grandparent or ready to leave and be unfulfilled, or at least saying, hey, I gave it a shot and I'm so glad I did, compared to how many people do we know that said like they have a little bit of regret? Don't have regret, because it doesn't matter what industry you are, what you do for a living, take a chance, because that chance could pay off tenfold for your kids, your grandkids, generations to come. And, that's just really one thing that I try to live by every single day, myself personally, my spouse, and try to teach into my kids.
That's good.
Have fun, man. Have fun in whatever you do. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but change your have to a get to attitude. I mean, this partnership and the growth we've experienced, there's always going to be growing pains, right? You don't go to the gym, and I know I don't have the biggest muscles, but Josh is flexing on me there. You don't go to you don't go and get bigger muscles without a little discomfort, right? And it's the same thing in your business, same thing in your everyday life, but you got to learn to enjoy the process. You got to learn to have fun doing everything you do, and that would be the biggest thing that I would say that I want anybody to take away from this, is just learn to have fun in everything you do. The rest just follows. Be yourself, be authentic, learn who your people are. At the end of the day, Joe and I might think we're great. I think certainly our wives think we're phenomenal, but we're not everybody's cup of tea, right? There might be clients that are like, hey, you guys, you seem to know what you're talking about, but we don't vibe, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that, again, because the way you have fun is working with people who want to work with you, and I think nothing else really matters after that. You're going to take care of each other in a relationship when you're having a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Got lots of just fun insight to how you guys build your practice, how you care for clients. I think most importantly, like, you guys have created this cool symbiotic process for your planning and everything for clients from A to Z, meet them where they are, which is online, but then having the ability to either stay online or come in person. And I just love the philosophy. I know the heart is to absolutely do the best thing possible for people. And it's easy to help people and think about doing what's right when you're the right kind of human being beforehand. I think that's in general our entire industry. There's always, of course, a couple of bad apples out there. But I think that as a whole, our industry is full of people who are really great people, want to do what's best for their clients. And you guys just really, really show that well. So I appreciate you guys coming on today. It's a lot of fun. And we'll talk soon. All right. See you, boys.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. Welcome to the disclosures for the Advisors Collective. The conversations on this podcast are intended to provide financial advisors with ideas, strategies, concepts, and tools that could be incorporated into their advisory practice. Advisors are ultimately responsible for ensuring implementation and compliance of anything discussed in accordance with your regulatory and compliance responsibilities and obligations. These discussions are meant purely for educational purposes. None of the information heard should be taken as financial advice or planning. The conversations and opinions that are expressed in the show are that of each host only and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the other hosts and their affiliated companies. This podcast is not intended to give tax, legal, or investment advice. Always consult with a qualified professional. For my practice, securities are offered through Cape Securities Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory accounts are offered through Terra Wealth Management.